Hey everyone, it's Persona user Mike. Welcome back. I'm actually taking a timeout break from playing my favorite game of all time, Nier on the PS3. If you don't know, go check it out. Anyway, what I'm here for this video is to show you or tell you cheap ways to game for free or on a low budget. So without any further ado, I'm going to get started right away. Make this video short and simple. The first and best way that I found to find the cheap, actually very free, is to find a library that's close to you. Hopefully if you're in a bigger city or close to a bigger city, you can actually go and get a membership, and they have a lot of games you can borrow for a week for free without any charge. The one that I'm at, I'm lucky to say that I have PS4, Switch games, and Xbox One games, and relatively new ones as well. Only a couple weeks after they come out, which is great. And they get about, between 2 and 5 copies, which is great. However, the disadvantage with this one and the next one I'm going to tell you is that they have limited number of copies, so a lot of people reserve it. So the good thing is you can't renew it if someone's reserved it, so that person has to return it after a week. However, the waiting list sometimes, like Spider-Man right now, is I think insane, up to like 80 people, so that means 80 weeks before someone gets it. So there's that. However, like I said, for games that have been out for a while, people have played it, or obscure games like JRPGs, it is the absolute best way. It's free, it's only a week. Second way, it costs money, but it's kind of similar to the renting idea. Since Blockbusters are gone, the first idea with the library. Second idea is like GameFly. It's a renting game service that you can do over the mail. There is a small fee for it, but unfortunately also there's also a waiting list for that. It's still got a couple of benefits and tricks if you want to check out. I don't use it myself, but a friend of mine uses it, and he swears by it, so it's a good backup for the library. So there's two, and those are for rentals. That's probably the cheapest way. Next way is if you have Xbox One, which I don't, so I don't know the exact details, but I believe they have a Game Pass now, which is kind of similar, where you can actually kind of pay one price and then try a little bit of all these AAA new games, which is fantastic. If PlayStation had that service, I would totally use it, because some games, you only want to try for a couple of days or maybe a couple of hours. You may not like it, and let's be honest, there's not a lot of demos out there. And when you go on YouTube, you're looking at someone else's opinion. Regardless of how much you trust someone else's opinion, you have to remember that every single person has a game that they like that nobody else may like. So you may get a bad review and then not play a game that could have been your favorite. So this is another way to get around that. The next one is Kijiji, Craigslist, those online want ads places. A lot of people sell their games on there. One good thing is to buy a AAA game that you like, play it. When you're done with it, put it up on there two ways: either for trade for another AAA new game that's out there, and that way you can play it. For example, let's say I got God of War and I want to play Spider-Man. I put up there, trade God of War for Spider-Man. Somebody out there is going to want to trade. And if not, The other option is to sell it for 40 or 50 bucks, whatever. Most of the AAA games on these sites, you'll see that they're going for the same price, more or less. So let's say it's 50 bucks. You sell it, you get 50 bucks. Now you can go and buy someone else's Spider-Man for 50 bucks. And then once you're done with Spider-Man, you sell that and you get Red Dead Redemption 2 for 50 bucks. You keep, I mean, more or less, I mean, give or take 10 bucks for the cycle to break if you want a more expensive game, or you get a cheaper one, whatever. But more or less, you're recycling. You just bought one AAA game and you're just recycling that funds. So there's another trick. These are the best tricks by far. The other ones I'm going to go into now aren't the best. They aren't as thrift as you want to say, and they are very well known. You already know about them already, but I'll just remind you. Flash sales, whenever, for example, I'm a PlayStation gamer, so we have flash sales. Usually it's once a month, but sometimes if there's like a holiday or a Black Friday sale, or during Christmas time, they have other special sales. Their flash sales are usually very good. You can get some indie games for 5 bucks. I just picked up Icy. It's been 20 bucks forever, which it's not bad, but for the type of length and whatever, I wanted a price drop. So now it's only $8, so I picked it up. Games like Bastion and Dust are games that go on sale for like 4 bucks, 5 bucks, and those are steals. So that's one thing, is to watch out for those kind of sales. Another thing is, if you have any friends that, or relatives, or even co-workers, maybe, depending on how close you are with them, that have a game that you want to play, you could borrow them. Depending on the relationship, borrowing games can be kind of iffy or whatnot. I have no problem lending my games out to my family and friends, and I don't give a deadline back or anything. I don't, you know, they're my friends and family, so that's great. But maybe a co-worker who I don't know too well, I would maybe do a trade game for game, both borrowing, not keeping, right? So let's say my friend, I have Spider-Man, and my friend wants to try, he has God of War and he wants to try it. He'll borrow this, I'll borrow this. You know, that's another thing. And again, it all depends on the relationship, but I'm just throwing out all possible options here, right? Some other ways you could get into things like, you know, downloading, if you're into that kind of stuff, older games to keep you busy. For example, if I just don't have the money to play something new, I could go play some old retro games, some Nintendo NES, Genesis games or whatever. You know, I'm not supporting downloading illegal ROMs, don't get that twisted, but there are other ways to play them. Greatest hits or whatever. Basically keeping yourself busy playing older games. This is a great one here, and it's cheap and it'll keep you busy. So segue on to the next thing is games that will keep you busy. So if you're a JRPG fan, this is never an issue for you anyway, because you'll buy a game and you'll play the hell out of it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's not like, you know, some of these other games where you only play it for a couple of hours and you're done after 10 hours of gameplay. No offense, Horizon Zero Dawn, but you get what I mean. So those type of games keep you busy until you have the funds to move on to the next AAA game. That's another one. And the last one I'll tell you is backlog. I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably have backlog. Who doesn't have backlog? I have backlog here. You have backlog. We all have backlog. And it's like we see the trailers for like the new games and we really want to play it so bad, but yet we have games that we could keep busy on and just mentally get over the fact that we don't need to play that game as soon as it comes out day one, and you will save lots of money. And finally, my last idea is pawn shops. It's a place where you can go and sell. You'll probably get ripped off. But then again, you know, GameStop, EB Games, you're going to get ripped off anyway. The best place to sell your games is want ads like Kijiji and Craigslist. That's where you can get the most from it. If not, then you go to these bargain shops, these pawn shops, and they're not going to give you a lot. And then the worst is EB Games, GameStop. You might as well just keep your stuff if you're going to do that. But the pawn shops, they sell the stuff very cheap. Again, if this is costing money, and a lot of stuff I said didn't cost money, but so this is why it's at the bottom of the list here. But if you're going to spend money and it's not on flash sale, a lot of those are older games though, but even then, that's still great. There's a lot of games that are great that are older. You don't always need to play something new. There's always got to be something you missed out on. As much games as I've played, I know there's games I missed out on way back from even Nintendo, even from Atari and Intellivision. There's games that people have played that are masterpieces that they missed out on. So there's a lot to go back to. But these are my tips to save you money, and or just play for free, keep you entertained on a budget. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos lately. I'm going to post a Christmas one, a year-end one, and then in January it'll be Persona User Mike's 1-year anniversary here on YouTube, and I'm going to have a very special video for that. Stay tuned. I also have another yearly review by our guest stars doing the WWE 2K for this year. So stay tuned, we got lots more coming. We'll talk to you later, bye.